Chapter 11 Skyline Towers. 6 months later, the construction was finished. Skyline Towers stood tall and proud in the center of the city, a masterpiece of glass, steel, and vision. It was everything Damian had dreamed of. And everything Aria had created. The opening ceremony was huge. Dignitaries, investors, press, and crowds gathered to see the unveiling. Damian stood at the podium, Aria standing proudly by his side, her hand in his. She wasn't hidden anymore. She wasn't just the wife. She was the creator. "People ask me how we did this," Damian said, looking out over the crowd, his voice loud and clear. "They ask how we built something so beautiful, so strong, so unique. And I tell them the truth." He turned and pulled Aria forward, putting his arm around her waist. "This building wasn't built by one man. It wasn't built by a company. It was built by a partnership. By a woman who is the most brilliant architect of our time. By the woman I love." The crowd applauded loudly. Cameras flashed everywhere. "For years," Damian continued, "I thought strength meant standing alone. I thought success meant controlling everything. But I was wrong. True strength is finding the person who sees the world exactly like you do. True success is building something together." He looked down at Aria, his eyes softening. "This tower is not just steel and glass. It is proof that two people from different worlds, with different names, with secrets and mistakes, can build something that touches the sky. And that is exactly what we have done." After the ceremony, they walked hand in hand through the building. Every detail, every curve, every beam, told their story. "Do you remember?" Aria asked softly. "In the beginning, when I said I would be your wife for a year?" Damian laughed, pulling her close. "I remember. And I remember being the coldest, stupidest man alive. I almost let you go. I almost missed everything." He kissed her temple. "But look at us now. You were the head of design. I run the business. Together, we run the world." They reached the very top, the observation deck Aria had designed. It offered a view of the entire city, stretching out forever. "It's perfect," Aria whispered, looking out. "Just like you," Damian replied. She turned to him, smiling. "Just like us." Chapter 12 Forever Blueprints. 1 year later. Life was beautiful. Sterling Group and Hale Construction had merged into one of the most powerful, respected, and innovative companies in the country. They didn't just build buildings anymore, they built communities, dreams, and futures. Damian and Aria were known as the golden couple, brilliant, powerful, and undeniably in love. They worked together every day, side by side, challenging each other, inspiring each other, making every project better than the last. But their favorite place was still their home, the penthouse, now warm, full of life, full of books, sketches, and laughter. No more separate bedrooms. No more locked doors. No more secrets. One evening, they were sitting on the terrace, looking out at the city lights. Aria was sketching in a notebook. Damian was watching her, as he loved to do. "What are you drawing?" he asked, resting his chin on her shoulder. "Our next project," she said, smiling. "But it's not a building." She turned the notebook to show him. It was a blueprint, but not for steel or glass. It was a drawing of a house. A home. With a big garden, wide windows, and room for a family. Damian's heart swelled. He looked at her, his eyes shining. "A home. A forever home," Aria corrected softly. "For us. For our children. For everything we are going to build." She closed the notebook and turned to face him, taking his hands in hers. "Do you remember the day we met? In your office. When I offered you a bargain." Damian laughed, shaking his head. I remember thinking you were brave, but foolish. I remember thinking I had everything under control. And look now, Aria said, gesturing to everything around them. You bought a fake wife. You got a partner. You got an architect. You got a love that builds things that last forever. Damian pulled her onto his lap, wrapping his arms tightly around her. I didn't buy anything, Aria. I earned it. Every day. And I will keep earning it for the rest of my life. He kissed her deeply, under the stars they had climbed so high to reach. We started with a contract, Damian whispered against her lips. A piece of paper full of rules and lies. He touched her heart. But our real contract, the one written here, it has only one clause, always. Aria rested her head on his chest, listening to the steady beat of his heart, the strongest, most beautiful structure she had ever designed. Always, she agreed. Below them, their city glowed. Their tower stood tall. Their legacy was secure. But the greatest thing they ever built wasn't made of steel or glass. It was made of truth, trust, and a love that started as a bargain and became an eternity. They drew blueprints for the sky. But they built their forever together.